up guys, welcome back to the show. Today what we're going to do is we're going to look more at our knee joint a little bit. We're going to try to avoid those nasty injuries that happen to our joints. And we know that the knee joint is a joint that is really abused through capoeira training. So we're going to see how we can mitigate that, but keep our training going, and we can still continue to add volume to our gains. So in essence, we're going to review a few things that we saw previously. We're going to try to just add upon that the layers of safety or of good movement practice, if you will. Now, one thing that I want to talk about in this video is the positioning of the ginga. I've explained this a little bit in the past, but I just want to go a little bit more in depth with how we're going to use our different muscles to ensure that the stress is a little bit alleviated from our knee joint. So when I'm going to be in my split stance here, a lunge stance, or my ginga stance here, one thing that's going to be important that we saw already is if I'm in split, the extended leg, I want internal rotation here, and the flexed hip here, external rotation. Why is this important? This is going to put the stress more so in the middle of my hips here, the bigger muscles, and my glutes to the side, sustaining more pressure here. Oftentimes, you'll see athletes extend their hip a little bit more and try to get that range to be at the same height as the player by doing this. So they try to alleviate the pressure to the knee, which is in essence not a bad reflex, but it takes away the pressure from the knee and puts it on the back. And if I'm here, it's going to be harder for me to generate power from my kicks because I'm not going to be braced and I'm not going to be using my glutes. So often this could be related to stiff thighs. So my quadriceps here are the ones that are going to be sustaining most of the pressure, and my hamstrings could be very, very tight. This can also happen with tight hip flexors that just essentially pull the pelvic bone into a posterior tilt, and this posterior tilt here will put myself in a lumbar flexion. We know that lumbar flexion is unsafe, and most importantly, you can't generate a lot of power because that power is just going to be wasted through everything in between. So how do we mitigate that? The issue is to take away the pressure from our quadriceps and to put it in our glutes here. So one thing to think about when we're playing is to squeeze those glutes. If you squeeze your glutes, your pelvic bone will naturally go into that neutral position. And if the pelvis is neutral, the lumbar is going to be neutral. You might feel a little bit of tightness here, and it might be a little bit tough to do, and you're just going to refer back to that. So how can we mitigate this? This is a very simple exercise that you could do in your warm-up, or better yet, in the cool-down or at home in the evenings, is the couch stretch. So let's have a look. What I want to do here is I want to lengthen my quadriceps. So remember, this fault of loading the quadricep is going to pull on your patella joint, and that's going to cause issues. So if I can lengthen, I can relax that muscle as much as possible, then it has more room to play, and my patella joint won't be grinding as I'm going to bend the knee joint. The other important thing is this couch stretch will also target your hip flexors. Now, the hip flexors are naturally going to be very tight, especially for people that sit on a desk all day, that drive a car all day, that don't walk much. That's going to be something that's going to happen as well. So it's a good bang for your buck. The other thing is a little trick and prescription that's part of this exercise is going to be to activate the glutes. Remember, if we activate the glutes, the pelvic bone goes naturally that neutral state. That's what we want. And plus, we're already going to be in a stretch state. So that's just going to emphasize more of that proper posture. We're kind of exaggerating what the ginga should look like in order to, when we're playing, it comes naturally and we're all neutral. So let's have a look at it here. In essence, you want to bring your knee as close as you can to a wall or something that's solid here. This might be a little bit uncomfortable to get to, so there's no shame in bringing your knee a little bit further to start off with. But the idea is to go into knee deep flexion if there's no pain related to it. So in this position here, my thigh here is in flexion, or my hip I should say. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to simply posture up. Now, for tight hamstrings, you might notice that you're going to overextend your lumbar. This is when squeezing the glutes is going to be important. Squeezing the glutes, neutral pelvis, neutral lumbar, and a heck of a strong stretch in your quadriceps and your hip flexors. I would suggest 1 to 2 minutes. This is a little bit torture for you. Start with a few seconds at first. And as per everything in the game, there's always one side that's a little bit easier than the other. So just bear with it and make sure that you balance out both sides. Remember to squeeze those glutes. That's a fundamental. If you're just in this position without the glutes, it's not going to have the same carryover in your knee. And simply afterwards, you can test. You can do a few gingas and just stop in the position. Look at your knee bend and try to see how those hips are feeling. If this is in neutral, if the glutes are activated, and then you know that you have a much more athletic posture, athletic ginga, and you're better set up to play and to kick. So I hope this helped you guys out to alleviate some of the pressure on the knees and be a little bit more athletic. If you have any questions or comments, let me know, and I'll see you on the next show.